This is a wild story. A mom and her teenage daughter say they were threatened with ejection from a WNBA game after security confronted them over their XXXY shirts they say were supporting women's sports.
The Georgia residents say they were told the shirts were offensive and given a choice: cover them up with Atlanta Dream shirts or leave. They ultimately covered the shirts to stay for the final minutes of the Fever's overtime win. WNBA later acknowledged the incident, saying fans should not have been asked to cover their shirts. Kasey Thompson, the mom who was told to cover up her XXXY t-shirt, joins us right now. Thanks so much for giving us your time, speaking up about this. But why was it important for you guys to go there and kind of back Sophie and make what I would say is a peaceful statement about how you feel?
Right. I mean, I have been supporting XXXY for a couple of years now because women in women's sports is important to me. And when Sophie Cunningham spoke up and, was the first female athlete to be vocal about it, I felt like it was important to support her. So
Yeah.
That's what we did.
So we're going to take a shot, I think, of the man who asked you to cover your shirts up with the Atlanta Dream shirt, or they said leave the arena, saying a fan or fans were offended by your shirts. So he just came up to you and were you surprised? I mean, we see a lot of stuff.
Like, huh?
Sorry. We were completely surprised. There was 2 minutes left in overtime, and they come up behind us and try to take us away from our seats. They're like, we need to talk to you over here. And my daughter and I are like, is this about our shirts? Because we had seen a couple of people pointing us out to staff or security about being offended. And I was like, people are offended by science. Like, these are chromosomes. How can you be offended by that? And he's like, I don't even know what they mean.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, you have to put this shirt on.
Yeah, good thing you didn't have the periodic table on your shirts.
I was gonna say,
It could be really confusing.
Right. Well, the Atlanta
Their
Dream.
question of what is a woman, I give them the answer pretty clearly. Like,
yeah.
they're struggling with it, but.
Yeah, the Atlanta Dream did put out a statement. This is what they released. They said the Atlanta Dream believes in creating a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. Unfortunately, at last night's game, WNBA security took actions that fell short of that standard. At no point was Dream personnel involved in the decisions made by WNBA security. But safe, like, how is your shirt going to threaten somebody's security?
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I honestly can't believe that we live in a world that men in women's sports is so controversial that the 10% that doesn't like it is really loud against us.
Yeah, I don't know how you snuck those shirts through the metal detectors, those dangerous weapons that you two were donning. But
yeah.
you know what I want to ask you? I got two daughters, Victoria and Ava, they're 27 and 24. They're not the biggest WNBA fans, but they're suddenly huge Sophie Cunningham fans because they're like, Dad, and they're competitive cheerleaders. One was a college cheerleader, and they're like, Dad, at least a woman is sticking up for the women and all the equality women before them fought for. So she's actually becoming more of a cultural phenomenon than Caitlin is on the court. Sophie's actually inspiring young women. Is that why you and your daughter were there, for the same reasons?
Absolutely. We are not big WNBA fans. I've never been to a game before. But when I saw the video of Sophie Cunningham singing Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue on Saturday, I was like, all right, we're spending the money. We're going to support our people that believe the same thing we do.
Wow.
You know, it's interesting. WNBA, I mean, it's not the biggest sport out there, and now they're
It is now.
they're letting everybody attack Caitlin Clark without saying boo about it.
Yeah.
And then going after fans, although letting coaches wear pro-trans T-shirts. That wasn't an issue. That wasn't dangerous, I guess.
The double standard continues.
Kasey Thompson, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate
Thank
your
you
time.
so much.
Yep.
Thanks for being a stand-up mom, too. You're the best.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
All right, Meta.